Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Success Beyond Strategy podcast. I have been in major growth and momentum mode, to say the least. So I'm excited because that's kind of what prompted this episode, to be completely honest. If anyone has been keeping up with me and you've listened to previous episodes, a lot has happened in the last 8-9 months, like completely major pivots, as you've heard about. I have changed. I have turned inwards. I have processed a lot of things, and there's been a lot of excitement, a lot of feelings of overwhelm, and a lot of feelings of momentum and growth, really, evolution, evolving, like all the different feels I have felt, stress, anxiety, let's throw that all in there on top of all the other things. But it has all been good. And I talked about that a little bit more on the Powerhouse kind of reflection episode, where I dived into how even though I've been feeling all these things, it's all good stuff. And it's actually good right now. But my mind likes to get in the way sometimes. But I want to kind of step back and actually share a little bit about this growth and this momentum. And actually, before I do anything else, because I've really, really been struggling celebrating stuff like recently, and I don't know if you resonate with this, because there's just been a lot of go, 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 back-to-back things that have been happening. I'm going to pause for a moment and celebrate because I bought a new laptop. If you're watching YouTube, because we're on YouTube, don't forget, I'm excited and bright. And honestly, I think the video is probably 100 times better than it was on the last one, because my last laptop, funny enough, was 2020, not even that old. Windows Surface all the way. That's what I use. It was the stimulus check that bought me that laptop, because for years, my corporate job and everything had been paying for laptops for me. So I never had a personal laptop for a while. And obviously, when the world shut down, I needed a way to work and apply to jobs and keep up with things. So I got that laptop. It was loved on so much, and I honestly have so much appreciation for it, because it's what's carried me through the last year and a half of business, and even the year prior to that when I was a travel agent and just starting to play around in the realm of being an entrepreneur in my own business owner world. And to have to say goodbye to it, it's not officially gone. I'm still in transition phase, but to say goodbye to it was really sad. But I'm celebrating this purchase because it's one of the biggest purchases, honestly, I've made in a while for myself. I mean, aside from probably plane tickets, but in reality, it's myself and my business, and getting to invest in something to make me more efficient again, and to be able to show up the way I need to and operate at a little bit quicker of a speed. Because to be honest, my last laptop, one of my fractional clients, funny enough, literally kept asking me, when are you getting a new one, Kat? When are you getting a new one? You need a new one. You need a new laptop. And I knew that, but cash flow, the debt that we've had that we're still kind of paying off, has been really hard to make a purchase, especially when it's my business laptop. I run my business off. This is where everything lives for me, that I'm not just going to buy a simple $400 or $500 laptop. I need one that's processing well. So it was $1,000. Actually, it was $500 cheaper than what originally I had quoted, because I also got one that was on sale and waited for that specifically. But to invest in something like this, where now my control key works again. My control key had crapped out the last about 4 months. So my efficiency had gone down, where, control C and control V to copy and paste. I lived off of that. Control all and bolding and italicizing. I didn't realize how much it was affecting me until it was affecting me. And then the quality of video, my battery life, just the processing in general, how much quicker things are connecting to Wi-Fi and uploading and things you don't realize. It was an amazing laptop, but it was time for a new one, and time for me, with this growth and momentum that's happening in the business, to invest in that. Just like I've invested in podcast support, just like I've invested into an assistant helper. She's my ops coordinator is what I'm calling her right now. I'm obsessed with that name because I like more unique names than just simple, stupid admin assistant, because she does more than that for me. But because of the growth and momentum, that is what's gotten me to this point to do it. So celebrating that. And now I want to share a little bit more, though, about how did I get to this point? Because I think not all of you, but there's a good chunk of you probably who listen to this that are in the online world. We met from events. We met over the course of the last 2 years since Powerhouse, and I've connected. And some of you might just be finding this episode for the first time, so welcome. And I lived in that realm of online virtual networking all the time. I was constantly posting on social media. It was growing my email list. It was doing all of these things. And that was a big chunk of the issue and wall I hit back in January. And it wasn't the fear of fully showing up. And there was probably a little bit of that resistance, but a lot of it was I was burned out. I was done posting on social media every day. I was done sending 1, 2, 3 emails a week. It's just not who I am. And I don't like that because I'm not actually getting to connect with people. You're seeing my face and you're seeing a photo and you're getting an email from me, which I love doing. And I do still do, but now I do it once a week. And really it's just these podcast episodes, because what I learned is I thrive in person. People get to know me and get to know my energy when we are in person, when I'm at an event, when I'm in my co-working space, when I'm going out and having coffee with somebody or hosting a coffee and co-working event or going on a walk with them. That is where my best connections come from. And many of you that I have met and we are close, we met in person first. That's really where the connection came from. Not everybody. There are still a chunk of you that we did meet online and we may not even have met in person yet when I'm recording this episode. But I thrive so much more in person, especially for my marketing. So what happened back in January of this year, 2025, I kind of had this realization and went to my first local kind of networking event. It's a little different. It's not like a chamber event or Rotary event. It was literally for entrepreneurs, business owners, creatives. And I went in and I started connecting to people. And in that time, someone I had gotten close to, one of my only friends, semi-close relationships here in Boone, ended up talking about me to an architect. And he was like, let's meet up for coffee. And he was at this event as well, but we ended up sitting and meeting for coffee and we instantly connected, felt so good. And he brought me on as a fractional client. Lower end, my first client too. So I was getting to play with him and kind of test out what works and what doesn't and beta test some of these things. But because of that, I started putting myself in more rooms here locally. I turned my focus from being online, being on social media, growing my email list, because I wasn't converting anything. And even prior to that, during the event realm, I looked back and none of my clients had come from online space only. Everyone had been connection via in-person events or word of mouth by somebody I had met at an in-person event or who already knew me. So when that happened, I started doing that here locally. I turned my focus here. I was attending events. I was sharing with people what I'm doing. And from there, it was like wildfire. And my impatient self looks at it and thinks back to me back in February and March and April. And I was so impatient because I was like, this is not happening fast enough. I need to keep turning these people. And I had all this interest, but nobody was moving and no one was agreeing or signed a contract. And I took a step back to realize there was a reason. But if I look from February of this last year to now we're in September when I'm recording this and this episode's coming out, it is a very, very quick and fast growth I've had in this business, faster than most people have when they're first starting out and as a business owner. And I really, truly believe the biggest thing was me turning back locally, getting in front of people and sharing it here in my community, and the word of mouth, finding people who believed in me and who trusted me to then share that with others. So then they came to me with interest and wanting to work with me. And I am continuing to do that to the point that I need to hire now. And I've partnered with a medical company that now wants to bring me on for more projects and being able to find these connections. And it's crazy because even the medical company, it's massive. But the CEO and the COO are here locally in Boone. That was the reason for the connection. So the biggest message I have in this entire episode, because I was the person for a year and a half believing you have to show up more online. You need to post more. You need to be posting 2-3 times a day plus and all these things. You hear it from so many people, especially if you're in the online space, especially if you're a newer business owner getting into the online space. And I'm going to tell you, you don't have to do that. Now, is my business fully online? Technically, no. And technically, my business is fully online because I do not have to be in person anywhere. I can do all of my work, all of my meetings, everything virtually and from afar. I am somebody that does like to sit down once a week with my clients and have a 30-minute, 45-minute, hour-long meeting here and there when we need it to actually sit, connect energetically, and be able to work through whatever issues come up or get touch base on what all the other projects are going on. So no, I really truly believe you don't have to burn yourself out on social. You don't need to be posting 2-3 times a day. You don't need to be sending multiple emails a week. You need to get in the room and get connected to the right people who know you and trust you. You need to voice what you are doing, because I started voicing the fractional work in October of last year and got my first client in January, knowing I was also building my event stuff on the other side of it. And now it's all been transitioned over to business consulting and fractional work. But voice it to those people you trust. Voice it to people that trust you so that then they go out and start sharing you with other people. That's how it works. And that's what's worked for me. This may not work for everybody. I'm not saying this is the way, it's the only way. But if you are feeling a lot of resistance, a lot of just dissonance in this constant showing up online, constantly having to put yourself on video, constantly posting reels and photos and all the things, I want you to take a step back and reflect on any clients you've had up to this point and figure out, where did they come from? Did they come from meeting in person at an event? Did it come from somebody else referring them to you? Did it come from social media? Did it come from an email you sent? Did it come from a freebie that you created and you've been sharing? Wherever it comes from, do a little bit of that reflection and digging into in your own business, because that's what I did. And literally a day or two later, had a conversation with somebody back in January, early February, that was, well, you need to double down and triple down on posting on social media. And for once I was like, no, that doesn't work for me. None of my clients have come from there. No one who's paid me money, nobody who's not even paid me money, but just connected with me, have come from there. And it was burning me out. I was drained. I was exhausted. I was frustrated and stressed so easily. So as soon as I flipped it and leaned into where I thrive, which is in person, which is communicating to people and talking to people and having conversations so that they build trust with me to then refer me. Even if they don't hire me on, they're referring me from someone else, or they have hired me on and now they're referring me to someone else. I mean, prime example right now is I was connected by somebody else to a bookkeeper. The reason she connected me actually was because the bookkeeper is wanting to get involved with more events. So people who are hosting events and help with the bookkeeping side of it, which was like, girl, it's a need. I worked with many people that just never had budgets, never really tracked expenses for their events. It just fell into their business or just fell into whatever it was. And so we were having the conversation, and in the middle of it, I was like, oh, I'm going to connect you to a few people. Well, turns around, she wanted to hire me for a one-off strategy session. So she hired me for a one-off strategy session. Before even that strategy session, she connected me to 3 other people that she thought would be a really good fit for me. I did not expect that, all because of a 30-minute coffee chat we'd had. And then we had our strategy session, and she just signed on for a 30-day project. And it's a couple $1,000s that I'm now making off of her from a word-of-mouth connection that somebody had known me, we talked, she booked a strategy session, and now we're doing a 30-day project, who also in turn, she now is trying to connect me with 2 or 3 people, all word of mouth. My social media is this podcast mostly now. I am trying to build it for my personal brand, which is different for speaking and to build trust in that sense, for podcasting, to grow this. But I am not leaning on it for my business, for the work I do to get paid. I am now showing up, sharing what I want to show up for, not to sell, not to educate fully on these things. And I'm loving it so much more. I'm loving showing up here on the podcast more. I'm loving showing up on social more. It's not like weighs me down. If I don't post one week, I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal, because I was doing it from a place of lack. I was doing it from a place of force. I was doing it of like, I have to do this, not I want to, or I desire to. So again, go back to my question. Where are your clients coming from? Where are you pulling in people into your world and lean into that. Go into your human design, go into your Enneagram if you want to, go into astrology. My human design actually is very, very on point for this. I'm a profile 4/6, emotional generator. I have to be lit up for my energy to keep flowing. Hence why social media and that had to go away. On the opposite end of it, the 4/6, it's community and my wisdom, and it's just sharing what I want to share, my experience, but it's also the community aspect is where I thrive, and building community and bringing people together and connections. So I love it. I love it so much. And that's what's gotten me to this point where now I am making, depending on the month, double, if not triple what I was making in corporate. And I'm serious when I say that. And it's just continuing to grow to the point I can bring on another team member, if not two, by the end of the year. And I'm excited for it. It's not the, oh, why am I doing this? By making really good money. It looks good. I look successful. No, I'm doing it because I truly believe in what I am doing and actually enjoying it, even in the days of overwhelm. That's a whole other podcast episode that I just had to work through, a belief that was in me that probably next week I'll be sharing. But it was so hard and draining. But as soon as you start looking at things and start reflecting on yourself, again, your human design, your Enneagram, start reflecting on where are those people for your business coming in from, lean into it. Lean into it. Because I promise you will show up so much better for your life and for your business when you start doing this. If this resonates with you, if you know someone that needs to hear this, please share it. Please share this with somebody if you know someone who's currently going through a very difficult time figuring out their marketing and their sales strategy and all the other things. I really hope this is some type of permission to go down a different path than what you're seeing from everyone. I think we're in this in-between of the online space that people are starting to realize this, but there's still so much being said, you have to do it this way. But we are all unique. Our businesses are unique, and we each get to choose the path we want to take and desire to take. And that, I hate using the word align, but aligns with us and what we are doing and creating. So share this with somebody if they need to hear it. Re-listen to this again later on if you need the reminder. And also, if you can, please go leave us a 5-star review. If you've been listening to this with me every week, if this is your first time, I would love for you just to leave a review so that then we can get this in the hands of more people. It's growing. There are things happening that I can't wait to share behind the scenes the next few months, but we're here. Success Beyond Strategy. This podcast is here. And I'm just excited to be showing up for you in like the best way possible. So enjoy the rest of your day, whether it's morning time or nighttime. And I will see you next week on the podcast.